The most terrifying CIA secrets aren't the ones buried in history books, but the ones they were forced to admit in plain sight. For decades, behind closed doors, intelligence officials funded experiments that sound like late-night conspiracy theories or high-budget sci-fi movies. Engineers building biomechanical organisms, scientists attempting to turn the human mind into a long-range radar, and weapons designed to kill without leaving a single trace on an autopsy report. Most people believe that after the mid-20th century, the CIA stopped playing mad scientist. But official declassified documents tell a radically different story. From secret labs, black-budget projects, and mind-bending tech. This is the CIA experiment they couldn't keep secret. Insectothopter. The CIA once built a dragonfly to spy on people. Not a camera disguised as a dragonfly. A real flying machine small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. During the Cold War, CIA scientists wanted a way to secretly collect audio from places agents couldn't safely enter. So they tried something almost unbelievable. A robotic insect. Their first idea was a mechanical bumblebee. But bumblebees fly unpredictably. A robotic bee hovering beside a diplomat's desk would look suspicious. Then one CIA engineer had a different idea. A dragonfly. It was called the Insectothopter. Inside its tiny body was a miniature engine, a microphone, and a mechanism designed to flap its wings like a real insect, and somehow it actually flew. In laboratory tests, the 1-gram machine traveled about 200 meters in a minute. But then the CIA discovered something their engineers couldn't fix. Wind. A crosswind of just a few miles per hour could push the tiny aircraft completely off course. The spy dragonfly was too small to fight nature, so the project was abandoned, and the bizarre little machine disappeared into classified archives. Decades later, the CIA finally put the Insectothopter on display, and that wasn't even the strangest surveillance technology they experimented with. Project Stargate. The CIA once gave a man the coordinates of Mars and asked him to describe what happened there 1 million years ago. What he described sounds like science fiction, but the experiment was real, and it was part of a secret US intelligence program called Stargate. Before we continue, if you're finding this deep dive into declassified history fascinating, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next investigation. Now, let's get back to the video. In the late 1970s, American intelligence became increasingly concerned that the Soviet Union was researching psychotronics, claims involving telepathy, extrasensory perception, and other forms of psychic phenomena. Fearing a potential psychic arms race, the US government began funding its own research. By 1978, the effort had evolved into what became known as Project Stargate. At Fort Meade, Maryland, military personnel and civilian participants were tested for something called remote viewing, the supposed ability to describe a distant person, location, or object without physically seeing it. The procedure was surprisingly simple. A viewer would receive only a set of coordinates, no photographs, no maps, no explanation of the target. They would sit in a controlled room, concentrate on the coordinates, and sketch or describe whatever they believed they were perceiving. Some sessions produced surprisingly specific descriptions of distant targets, but whether those results were genuine intelligence or simply coincidence and subjective interpretation remained deeply controversial. Then came one of the strangest experiments in the Stargate files. May 22, 1984. A participant was given a sealed envelope containing coordinates and a target, Mars. Time period, approximately 1 million years, BC. The viewer entered the session and began describing what he claimed to perceive. He reported enormous structures, violent dust storms, and towering, shadowy humanoid figures, apparently searching for shelter from a planetary catastrophe. It sounds unbelievable, and that's exactly why the experiment remains so fascinating. Because the question isn't whether ancient civilizations actually existed on Mars. There is no scientific evidence that they did. The real mystery is why US intelligence was willing to spend years and millions of dollars investigating whether the human mind could obtain information from places it had never seen. In 1995, after decades of research and more than $20 million in reported funding, the CIA ended its involvement in Stargate, concluding that remote viewing results were too inconsistent to provide reliable intelligence. This brings up a serious question for you. Do you believe Project Stargate was shut down because remote viewing didn't work? Or was it closed to the public because it actually did work, and they wanted to keep it exclusively behind closed doors? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. The secret poison weapon. If remote viewing sounds like science fiction, our final case file is a stark reminder of how lethal CIA technology became in the post-1970 era. In September 1975, the Church Committee, a U.S. Senate Select Committee investigating intelligence abuses, summoned CIA Director William Colby to Capitol Hill. What he brought into the hearing room stunned Congress and made front-page news worldwide. Colby placed a battery-powered pistol on the table. It didn't fire standard bullets. Instead, it was engineered to shoot a tiny dart, no larger than a human hair, made of frozen shellfish toxin. When fired, the dart would enter the target's skin almost imperceptibly, leaving only a tiny red dot. Inside the body, the frozen toxin would quickly melt, enter the bloodstream, and induce a fatal cardiac arrest within minutes. The most terrifying part? During an autopsy, the poison would leave absolutely no chemical trace, making the death appear entirely natural. While the CIA claimed the weapon was never deployed in the field, its public unveiling proved that intelligence agencies were actively developing covert assassination tech capable of bypassing modern forensic medicine. From robotic insect drones to psychic military units and undetectable weapons unveiled on Capitol Hill, the history of declassified intelligence proves one thing: truth is often stranger than fiction. And for every project that gets declassified, dozens more remain buried under layers of top-secret redactions.